All right, so welcome on Hit or Miss. I am your host, Night Strike, and tonight, it is Hollywood Squares, but not really. I've got an interesting panel this evening. We'll introduce them, and we got a whole bunch of topics. Whether we get through all of them or not, we have no idea. But we were talking about some of the topics, in the pre-show, and we were getting pretty heated, so we decided to turn the sucker on and get with it. So, all right. So, Travis, how's it going?
Man, I'm doing all right. I got to make a quick plug here. Next Monday, before Caliber Corner, we'll do a live drawing for a 224 Valkyrie Upper. And sorry, my corgi's making some noise right now. If you head over to my channel and check out the giveaway video that's posted, you post a caliber you'd like to hear us discuss on a future episode of my podcast, we will get you entered in the drawing. And from what I've been told, it can be mailed to any of the 50 states, but what you do with it just has to comply with your local and state law. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a good giveaway.
All right. Rich, how's it going?
I don't know. But you know what the sad part is? You finally win an argument, but it wasn't on air, so it didn't happen.
Ah!
Wait, there was an argument?
No. It's just, okay. It's nice to see you too, Rich. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Okay. All right. Stacy, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. So, sorry to, let everybody enjoy my presence tonight.
Okay.
You're like, whatever.
We'll go with that. I don't at this point. I could go one way or the other. I don't care. So
nice, Rick. This does wonders for your male to female viewer ratio. So just shut up, okay?
Yeah.
We'd love to have a 20% female viewer ratio on our channel. Yeah.
We would. All right. Moving on, we've got everyone's favorite Marylander. We've got Kingpin. What's going on?
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing, Kingpin?
Oh, man, I'm doing swell. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now, for those of you out there on the YouTube side, you will see that I figured out how to get GunTube Chamber to do normal style chat or to do the squares. And we're going to leave it on the squares tonight, but I now have complete control of GunTube Chamber. Mwahaha. Not that I wouldn't have control over it anyways, but regardless of the point. Anyways, so moving on. All right, so Travis, what news article do you want to cover first tonight?
I think we need to get it. Let's get back. You still there?
Let's go. Yeah. Can you hear me, Travis?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go back to the one talking about the anti-gun people that are not anti-gun.
Oh, you mean the moms want action? I mean, demand some action?
Moms denied action, yeah.
Moms need action? I don't remember what. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So apparently there was an interview with Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action. And yeah, I know why Night Strike why we're talking about this, because it's in the news, that's why. But apparently, she's saying often people think that we're anti-gun because we're doing this work. We're anti-gun or we don't support the Second Amendment. And nothing can be further from the truth, Watts said in an interview with CBS News. News chief, Washington correspondent Major Garrett in this week's episode of the Takeout podcast. Watts noted that many volunteers the organization were gun owners or married to gun owners. This is simply about restoring the responsibilities that go along with gun rights, Watts said. She added that while the top priorities for Moms Demand Action are background checks, red flags, laws, and disarming domestic abusers, the organization also advocates for an assault weapons ban and has worked with municipalities on the issue. She left out the part about Moms Demand Action trying to convince a corporation to ban guns from their establishments, opposing concealed carry measures, and being funded by a guy who thinks you need to take young black men and throw them up against the wall to frisk them in order to reduce violent crime in urban areas, which is what Bloomberg did when he was mayor of New York. Just FYI. Want to know how else you can tell Moms Demand Action is anti-gun? You'll never hear Shannon Watts say of any gun control proposal, that goes way too far. In fact, it's unconstitutional. She can't even bring herself to say that Beto O'Rourke's plan to ban and confiscate millions of semi-automatic rifles is too much.
Yeah. Well, you know what else she didn't specify?
We're not done. It goes further down the rabbit hole. So.
Okay. Okay.
It goes on to say, another quote from we're hearing a lot of innovative ideas come out of the primary season, which is exciting for us that these candidates are competing for the first time ever to see who can be the best on this issue. I think you got best confused with opposite, but Watts said, we're thrilled to see all these ideas be put forward, and it's up to the voters to decide what is attractive to them. I know this is hard for me to read too, so we're almost done. We got like 4 paragraphs left. All right. It goes on to say it's up to the voters to decide. Funny how it's never up to the voters to decide if they want constitutional carry or right to carry reciprocity or even the ability to own an AR-15. The truth is Watts and her group want to wear that common sense label, and that means that there are some topics she'd simply rather avoid talking about. Watts said that the organization needed to do more research before determining the best way to educate an assault weapons ban. We need to look at the data to see what should be the most effective way to get those weapons off the streets. Well, I wasn't aware they were on the streets in the first place, but again, is Shannon Watts really claiming that her group has been backing a so-called assault weapons ban for nearly 7 years, but they've never looked at the data to figure out how to actually get rid of the guns they want to ban? That's absolutely laughable, and it's a damn shame Major Garrett didn't call her out on that, Whopper, or any of her other claims when he interviewed her for a CBS podcast.
I'm not surprised he works for CBS.
Yeah.
When he worked for Fox, he may have, but now he works for CBS. There ain't no way in hell. And another thing that she didn't mention was that this, under the plan of Moms Demand Attention, would be an assault weapon. Why? Because it has a threaded barrel and a 17-round magazine.
Right. Yep. So
I mean, last time I checked, the only assault rifles making it on the street.
What was that, Travis? Travis seems to be having technical difficulties. But yeah, it's just weird that they're saying, "Oh, we're not anti-gun. We just want common sense reform." Yeah, and backing everything that's anti-gun and wanting to implement everything presidential candidates have been saying on the Democratic side does not make you pro-gun. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
Oh, I was just saying that the source of the assault rifles is the ATF. That's where they're coming from out on the streets. I mean, that's pretty easy to figure out. Well, operations like Fast and Furious, it doesn't take much to get them back.
So
yep.
It's ridiculous, but I figured we'd go over that one because that one was one of those moments where, oh no, you got to call them out for this one. So, and no, Travis did not get hacked by Tulsi Gabbard or whatever her name is, and and she's not a Russian spy or being supported by Russia in the 2020 Russia conspiracy. I mean, the Democrats have to have something to blame their presidential loss on, and I guess Russia is just that scapegoat.
I'll go vid me on her if I have to, so it's fine.
Yeah. We got Travis. We'll be good.
Yep.
Okay, so you're saying it wasn't Tulsi Gabbard that hacked her; it was Jill Stein.
No, it was Hillary Clinton. They got
Hillary
into his
Clinton
email.
said, no, come on now. We got to take Hillary at her word. She said both Tulsi and Jill are Russian operatives.
Right. I don't believe that at all. But again, that's also what's been in the news lately, and it's hilarious that the Democrats are basically eating their own. That, coupled with the fact that Antifa is now attacking local Democratic Party offices too, that's icing on the cake.
I say it all the time. Just give the left long enough and they'll destroy themselves. But the problem is, we're going to have to clean up the mess afterward, and we're stuck in the middle while they do it.
I ain't stuck on the middle. I am not an independent by any means.
I'm not talking about an independent. I'm talking about when you want to go to work and there's jerks standing in the middle of the street keeping you from getting to work. When it comes to your town, you're in the middle of it.
No, people would get run over if they did that in Charleston.
And then people would go to jail for running people over in Charleston.
Well, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I'm just saying if somebody tried to do that in Charleston, it wouldn't last very long.
Yeah,
Well, we're talking about the better of the country, not just where we are. Yeah.
But they tried those Greenpeace people tried to do that in Washington, and some dude who's like a nurse or a RN went and just took down their sign and threw it on the side of the road, and then broke everybody up and said people have to go to freaking work.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd love to see Antifa try that crap on the Beltway in DC.
Yeah, I mean, because
like Occupy Wall Street didn't happen.
Oh, that was New York. Nobody moves in New York anyway.
All right.
Nobody moves in New York. And also with New York, they've got sidewalks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And most of that Occupy Wall Street stuff was a lot of that was in Central Park, wasn't even on Wall Street.
So. All right. What else are we going to talk about?
Little cartel gun battle action going on down in Mexico.
Do you want to talk about the whole cartel incident?
I think so.
All right.
We're not trying to shame the Mexican government or anything, but they really need to plan better the next time they decide to take on the cartels with their trillions of dollars in revenue and unlimited weapons supply. Supplied by the ATF, by the way. But anyway, go on.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, a few days ago, a drug cartel was attacked by the Mexican army. And apparently, the drug cartel won that battle. Because apparently the Mexican army launched an operation on which drug cartel was it? I don't know which one it was.
Probably there's
it was in the city of Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa State in Mexico. And it was between the Mexican military and the forces and cartel gunmen after the Mexican military captured two sons of jailed drug kingpin. Wait for it. Joaquin El Chapo.
Joaquin
El Guapo Guzman.
Joaquin. Sorry, man. I have no choice. Joaquin Guzman. I think there's an accent mark over the A.
It's El Guapo, right?
No, El Chapo. El Chapo.
Is it El Chapo? I thought it
Yeah,
was
it's El Chapo. No, Guapo's from Three Amigos, bro.
Oh, okay.
Would you
That's
say
awesome.
I have a plethora?
Oh, yes, Effie, you have a plethora.
All right.
So tell me, what is a plethora exactly? What do you mean, boss?
What is this? Gringos falling from the sky? Yes.
Oh, so,
in the basement with the other Yankee maricon.
But yeah, so they basically the Mexican army launched an attack on Guzman's El Chapo's cartel.
Guzman.
Travis, I'm American. I will say it how I want to say it on my own show.
You speak
He's
very good. And this coming from the guy that misspelled strike. So go ahead. All right, you say what you want to say.
That's what
he's a man who loves the goose.
So anyways, and apparently the cartel responded to the Mexican army with what appears to be tanks. I don't know. Granted, this is from the news. You know, they might think an APC with a gun on top of it is a tank. But either way, also there's been reports of the pictures of the cartel's forces being better equipped and kitted than the Mexican army as well. And it's just, come on, guys! You're a country's military, and you can't even beat a criminal syndicate. What the hell?
On one hand, you have Mexico. On the other hand, you have $1 trillion drug cartel. It's not hard to figure out what happened here. Mexico is inferior.
It's ridiculous. Surely you see the ridiculousness of this.
Okay, let's put it this way.
In no way should a criminal syndicate, whether it's a cartel or whatever kind, it should not ever be able to beat a country's military, which is strong enough to attack another country's military, right?
Except you're talking about Mexico. When has Mexico won a war in the last 100 years?
Yeah, plus there's like 4 major cartels that have run Mexico for like 50 years now anyway.
I mean, Mexico did invade invading French army in the Battle of Puebla, but I don't remember what year that was. It's what led to the Cinco de Mayo, but that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was over 100 years ago. That's why I said in the last 100 years, how many wars has Mexico won?
Plus, the Mexican army is probably not big fans of cutting people's heads off and hanging them from bridges. Or having their heads cut off and being hung from bridges.
Hung from bridges in front of their kids' schools. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If they would just ask for some help, I'm sure we'd go in there and clean them out if they really wanted us to.
Yeah, and you got to keep this in mind, too. One side in this conflict has an air force, and it wasn't Mexico.
And tanks.
Well, the news says it was tanks. We don't know if they were APCs or what.
I'm going to go with something like a Bradley fighting vehicle or the Russian BMP. Yeah, they look like tanks.
It would probably be Russian because you can buy those literally anywhere these days.
Yeah, you can find those on the black market easy if you're Mexican.
Not even black market. You can buy those. You can buy those overseas.
Yeah.
So. But
there's
again,
so many of those out there from when the Soviet Union fell. But I'm willing to bet, like we were talking pre-chat. I mean, I'd really be willing to bet that that's what they had. And again, like was said, the media wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and a tank. They're not going to know the difference. They both have turrets. They both have cannons, and they both have treads. Therefore, according to the media, that's a tank.
I just want to make a statement right now. From this point on, you guys can all call me El Travi Guzman, okay? I just want to get that out right now. No more King Travi.
Sí, Señor Guzman.
El Travi Guzman. You can call me El Gordo.
El Gordo?
El Gordo.
Isn't that something that was on the Taco Bell menu?
Yeah, Gordita. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but... El Travi Guzman.
El Travi Guzman. Oh, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
What is Travis in Spanish? Is there a Spanish
No,
version, Travis?
I don't believe so. Not that I've ever seen or been told. So it is Savart backwards, which is kind of cool.
It's Traviso.
There's Travieso, which means like little fool, you know.
There you go.
Travieso.
There we go. That's
Travieso.
perfect. Travieso.
Well, that would. I don't know if that would qualify for the present company. I can think
Actually,
of another
it's more
Travis who we hang out with.
Mischievous or playful is more of a translation, but yeah, Travieso.
How do you say chubby chef?
Say what?
How do you say chubby chef in Spanish?
That'd be cocinero gordo.
That's Midnight Range. Right
That's
there.
Midnight Range. he'd be actually, if you literally wanted to say Midnight Range, well, he uses like pistol range, but I was thinking like a stove. It'd be like estufa de medianoche if we wanted to call him like the stove of the night, you know, like the stove
I
of
know
midnight.
is Medianoche, but I know that one.
I'd have to look up how to say like range, like gun range in Spanish. That one I mean, I know how to say field and firing line and stuff like that, but
apparently Jay Monty is out there on the YouTube chat saying, "Let these folks know the Sinaloa cartel digs the best tunnels," and I am not doubting that at all.
okay, so Midnight
I
Range,
don't know,
just translate
man.
everybody's names in Spanish here. Midnight Range in Spanish is Campo de Tiro de Medianoche.
That's too long.
El Campo de Tiro de Medianoche.
That's even longer.
We'll call him El Chapo.
Yeah. Going back to that tunnel thing, I think the VC would have something to say about that.
Well, you know, the VC aren't in North America or in Central America, are they?
Yeah, you didn't specify where. And remember, the VC did it without power tools.
Did you know that the current Vietnam Army uses a rifle that looks really fucking similar to the M4?
Well, is it just a licensed clone of some production M4?
Oh no, it ain't licensed at all. But still, you know, it looks a lot like an M4 and M16.
Yeah,
we did leave a lot of them there too.
Yeah, you do realize we don't have hostilities towards the Vietnamese anymore, and we have lots of trade agreements with them.
That was because of Obama.
So, I mean, no. It goes before Obama. This has been before Obama.
So.
Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Keep getting bumped out. I don't know what the deal. I got a good web signal tonight, internet signal.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man. Something the network. Yeah. It's the NSA. They're tapping me now because they heard me say my name is El Travi Guzman.
Clay is out there saying no quiero el fume.
Where I got to see that comment. What? I don't want the smoking. What?
I guess.
El Chapo.
So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make this into a Spanish lesson this evening.
Yeah, apparently Artisan Tony's out there saying, yeah, but the difference is the cartel will not love you long time. Unlike the Vietnamese.
He's not wrong.
He is not wrong. No, he is not. That is pretty good. All right, so I guess we need to move on because we've had our laughs about the whole cartel thing and, you know, and Spanish thing. But again, it's just it's funny and sad and ridiculous all at the same time that a country's army was defeated by criminals. It's just, anyways. You know, Mexico, thank you for keeping the bar low. Thank you. So, moving on. What do we want to go after? What do we want to talk about next? How about this one? Apparently, NRA board member Tom King spoke publicly, calling the time-honored tradition of Americans making their own guns at home a growing problem that could be turning into a criminal enterprise. So, Tom King also serves as the head of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, and he's also the an NRA board member. And so, with friends like him, who needs Every Town, the Brady campaign, and Moms Demand Action? Right? If you've got friends like that, do you really need all those other groups? Because hell, he's actively working against gun owners. So, the head of and it goes on to say, the head of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association said the sale of ghost guns is a growing problem. No, it's not. The 80%
no
guns
such thing.
are providing
The
a
only-
way prohibiting people to buy a firearm. No, it's not.
Yeah, the only ghost guns are like the I believe you have one, don't you? You have a ghost gun, I think.
I don't know
Or
what you're talking about.
You know, that I believe you got it. It's from China, if I remember correctly, and its name is only
yes,
three
yes.
initials.
Yes, the SKS ghost gun. Yes, I've got that one.
Yes, that's the only ghost gun I can think of.
Hey, I'm going to switch computers. I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
But now
So-
then you see where I was going with that now.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. But apparently these 80% guns are providing a way for prohibited people to buy a firearm. Tom King of the NYSRPA said, referring to people who don't have a gun permit or are otherwise prohibited from possessing a gun. He said self-assembled guns provide a way for competition shooters to make a custom-fitted firearm. Such weapons should have serial numbers and be registered. And any new legislation should consider such a provision, he said. But it appears increasingly, King said people trying to evade the law are the ones buying and selling self-assembled weapons. I've got permits, and I build AR-15s all the time. I'm not a prohibited person. Are you, Rich? Are you a prohibited person?
No, and none of my guns are registered because we don't have a registry in this state. I know this guy is from New York.
Kingpin, are any of your rifles? Are you a prohibited person?
No, sir.
See, that's my point. That's my point. Even if I did decide to go and make another 80% receiver gun, the issue is it's legal in my state. I already have, a permit to carry concealed in this state. So if I'm a prohibited person, somebody needs to reassess their view on the world.
That reminds me, I don't need permits. I'm like the
you got
Spanish guy,
carry,
the Mexican guy. Yeah, I'm like the Mexican guys in the Treasure of Sierra Madre. Badges? I don't need to see you stinking badges. Oh, in this case, permits. I don't need to show you no stinking permits.
Right. So.
And we got right back onto the Spanish thing again. Yay!
Yeah. It's Travis's fault. It is Travis's fault. But
he's not even here, but it's his fault.
Yeah. But again, as if the National Rifle Association didn't have enough problems. Now they have another board member advocating for more gun controls, including gun laws banning everyday Americans from building their own guns at home, something that has been perfectly legal without regulation since before this nation's founding.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he says that people are building home guns and then selling them. I guess this guy doesn't realize unless you have an FFL, which one is it, 7? That's already illegal.
Right. It boggles the mind. It really does. So, what else is going on?
In case anybody was wondering, the cat just attacked my wife's foot.
Okay. Okay, we got play-by-play there. All right. So, Travis, are you back on your other computer now?
Yeah, I should be good to go. Hopefully, I don't get booted out again. If I do, there's something going on with my network. So I shouldn't have called myself El Chapo. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I do want to mention that the main GunTube server for everyone to host all their conferences is in Texas, so you shouldn't be having any problems.
All right.
Because I figured Texas, a central location for the main server, would be good.
Yes, definitely. Good state choice, by the way.
Yeah. So, again, just FYI,
Good to know.
Where it is.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, with NRA board members like that, I mean, do you really even need anti-gunners? I mean, seriously. No, Tony. I do use the NC servers too, but I have to do GunTube properly for GunTube Chamber. I had to get servers in different parts of the country for latency and failover. And sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's GunTube Chamber technically is determined by who has the worst internet. So, all right. Anyways, what else? What else do we want to talk about? Travis, you got anything you want to comment on or talk about? You've been having issues. You want to take a crack at it?
Having issues? No, dude, I'm fine, man. Oh, you mean what, because of tech stuff or what?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I actually don't have any articles for tonight. I'm just going to go off of what you had mentioned. I hadn't had a chance. I've been so busy to haven't had a chance to sit down and look at what's actually going on in terms of gun news. No, honestly, I don't have any topics for right now.
All right. I really don't want to talk about any of these other topics, quite honestly, because none of them are really good. Well, one of them is kind of good, but it's also kind of bad. But
what's that?
Well, apparently a judge ruled that Washington state preemption statute trumps local safe storage law. So, a Snohomish County, Washington Superior Court judge has ruled that a 2018 passed ordinance in the city of Edmonds requiring so-called safe storage of firearms impermissibly regulates firearms in violation of Washington's 36-year-old preemption law. In a lawsuit filed by the Second Amendment Foundation and the National Rifle Association, the SAF and NRA are joined by three private citizens, Brett Bass, Curtis McCullough, and Swan Seberg. And that's definitely a name. Judge Anita Ferris handed down the ruling, possibly setting the stage for a state Supreme Court showdown in a separate case filed by the Second Amendment Foundation and the National Rifle Association against the city of Seattle in neighboring King County. A different judge ruled the opposite. The case is now before the State Court of Appeals. We're encouraged by the judge's ruling, said SAF founder and executive vice president Alan M. Gottlieb, who I've actually met. Good guy. Judge Ferris' ruling confirms that we've argued what we've argued all along, that under the state preemption law, first adopted in 1983 and strengthened in 1985, the legislator has sole authority over firearms regulation in the state. The preemption statute is designed to create statewide uniformity in firearms regulation. He noted allowing municipalities to chip away at the law by adding a storage requirement simply cannot be permissible, he added. The judge denied the city's request in the SAF NRA summary judgment victory to stay the decision until it can be appealed. Gottlieb noted that Judge Ferris was having none of it. The judge explained that part of the state test requires showing reasonable probability of success on the merits, and she saw no possibility of success for the city on appeal. She described it as not a close call. Michael Bloomberg's gun control lobbying group has been supporting similar restrictive local laws all over the country, Gottlieb said. The victory will help stop this across the country. Preemption uniformity was a good idea in the 1980s and is still the most common sense way to deal with firearms regulation. What is the law in one part of a state should be the law in all parts of that state, he said. Under the judge's order, pending appeal, a permanent injunction will take effect against Edmund's storage ordinance, and if an appeal is unsuccessful, that requirement must be repealed. Plaintiffs are represented by attorneys Stephen Fogg, Eric Lindberg, and Core Cronin, LLP of Seattle. So, hey, that's good news. What do you think, Travis?
Dude, I apologize. I actually found a topic that I wanted to bring up. I got a post I want to share on the. No, this is good. This is good stuff. This is one of our own. So this is all right. So Solo Yacker, I had him on my channel a while ago. He's with the Florida Carry Group. You guys ever seen his channel? Have you seen his most recent video?
No, I have not.
He was walking down the sidewalk going to fish. He was 100 yards from the shoreline, and in Florida, you've got a law that says that you can. Again? No. It actually was pretty scary. He had his flag in one hand, he had his fishing pole in the other, had his M&P 22, slung over his front, and he had his firearm holstered, and he was walking to the shoreline. And I mean, everybody should know that there is a law that says you can open carry while walking to the pier, while walking to go fish and coming back to go to your vehicle. And a cop rolled up, jumped out of the car. Started cursing at him, yelling at him. The cop had his gun in his hands, and he kept saying, "You're not walking down the sidewalk. You're walking down the street." He wasn't. He was clearly walking down the sidewalk to go to the pier. He's like, "You can't have your gun with you while you're going fishing." The cop was like, I thought he was going to kill him. It was a scary video, actually. And then for 30 minutes, he's getting screamed at and yelled at. And another cop showed up, and another cop showed up. They had him on the ground, pinned on the ground. They took his guns from him. They kind of tossed him off in the bushes. And then once they realized he had his camera on, and like the sergeant realized he had his camera on, then they said, oh, yeah, well, the sergeant's like, "Oh, yeah, well, you can call me about this whole incident." You guys really got to watch this video because, I want us to be able to have the right to open carry, but I just don't want anything to happen to any of us that do so. This kind of shows you what can happen. And they started talking about, oh, well, there's children over there, and somebody called in. It was really a very scary situation. That cop could have easily opened up on him if he wanted to. He's like, he's trying to set it. He made him set his flag on the ground, his American flag on the ground, and his rifle or his fishing pole. Stuff like that. And I was kind of wondering, and I know that Solo Yacker does that all the time, but I was thinking it'd just be a matter of time, before somebody rolls up on him with guns drawn, and so I don't know. It really kind of shows you some of the tyranny that does exist, unfortunately, with law enforcement. I know not every cop's like that, but if the cop would have understood the law, he wasn't breaking any law, he had his fishing pole in one hand, his flag in the other. Yes, his weapons were out, but you can have a right to open carry.
He was proceeding to his area of fishing.
Yes, he was just walking, and the sergeant told him, he goes, "Oh, well, he felt threatened by you when he saw you." I'm like, how? Like, he didn't have any guns in his hands. Yes, he had his guns out, but you're allowed to do so. And then the cop in the background that drew the gun on was like laughing in the background the whole time. I'm like, wow, this is not the city I want to go visit when I go to Florida. So I'll put the video in the side chat. I wanted to try to find that video real quick so I could share it with people. I'm not going to show the video, but I'll put the link in there for people to watch, and you guys can make your own call on it. But and most of the people are pretty cool with him that he runs into, and he'll sit and chat with people and try to educate people on it. But it's a pretty scary situation. So if you're pro open carry, you really want to be careful. That's all I'm going to say until we can get our society changed where we can open carry peacefully, But here's the link in the, if you guys want to watch it. Oh, Kingpin, you put it up there?
Yeah, I just
did you watch it or not?
I haven't watched that one yet, but I do watch his videos, and I don't know him as well as pretty much a lot of other people. And I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but
Yeah.
he's a target now. Like this isn't his first. He's well known,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
that was a targeted attack.
I mean, dude, he was. I mean, and the thing is, he's not. You think whatever you want, but he's not breaking any law. And you would think law enforcement would just know, okay, if we see a guy that's got a gun and a fishing pole,
He's going
okay,
fishing.
we do have to go check up on him if somebody calls it, and we are legally required to approach this gentleman. They don't have to ask for ID. They can just say, hey, what's going on? I'm going fishing. Great. And some of the cops have done that in some of the videos. But man, these last couple sets of police officers were just, and none of those cops had body cameras on either that rolled up on him, which I thought was kind of interesting.
But this proves that law enforcement they don't know how to handle legal citizens carrying firearms.
And he was complaining because he's got like a shoulder issue, and they were sitting there ripping on him and stuff. I mean, it's not a fun video to watch. It's very ugly, is what it is.
Most likely, that was revenge. That was them getting back at him. Maybe not him specifically, but that group that he works with.
Yeah,
like he's not a stranger. I mean,
no, it's just Open Carry, Florida. Yeah,
and so I would imagine that was a targeted attack. That wasn't just some random cop responding to something. There's that guy who pisses us off, and we're going to show him what's up.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind too, he lives in one of the most liberal areas of Florida, so that compounds the situation.
Oh, but he does go all over the state. I mean, he's not just restricted to just one area. But yeah, it was. I watched that. It really was disturbing to see what the cop was saying to him, and it's like, no, that's not what was happening in the video at all. He was not going down the street. And the cop made it sound like he couldn't have his gun with him. It's like the law says you can have it when you're walking and coming back. And the cop was like, you can't have it until you're fishing. I'm like, well, where the hell is he supposed to put it? How are you supposed to transport it to your fishing spot? You can't just magically make it appear there. You can't have your drone drop it off when you get to the bank, So I mean, this is, man, I don't know. It's not fun to watch. That's all I got to say.
Wait, your drone can't drop it off for you?
I'm not cartel. You kidding me?
They gotta use telekinetic teleportation because even the cartel is still physically transporting it if you're using the drone. So.
Yeah, it's just and because Florida's not the only state like this. Okay, in South Carolina, you can't open carry unless you're going hunting or fishing either. So, it's just It's not that I'm not brave enough to go and open carry while going hunting. It's the issue that the problem is in South Carolina, as well as Florida, you have a lot of cops that don't understand that there's this thing called the Second Amendment. They don't understand that there's a difference between citizens and criminals. And there's a major issue with that. And it almost makes me feel like that, law enforcement in the entire country needs to change. And law enforcement officers need to understand that there are people that are firearms owners that are citizens, and then there are people that are criminals who do bad things all the time and should not be, caught and released. But again, you don't have that in every state. Some states you got, constitutional carry, and the cops don't pull you over for openly carrying. Isn't that right, Rich? And he's not paying attention.
Yeah. No, I was paying attention. I was in the middle of typing. I had to hit the mute button. So,
but you got constitutional carry. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, there's definitely places like that. We don't even need a permit to open or conceal carry.
Right, but even if you do open carry, they don't go and pull you over, throw you on the ground and take your guns and say, yeah, you can't open carry.
No, they'll pull you over asking what kind of gun it is. They want to talk about the gun, not give you a hard time about it.
Yeah. So
I mean, talk about it in a good way, you know. So.
yeah, I mean, hell, I mean, even I've had some interesting conversations with law enforcement in the Charleston area because some of the guys in Charleston are pro gun. Okay, there's a lot of pro gun cops, but again, I usually ask them, yeah, I know you're in law enforcement. I know you're issued that that particular model of a firearm, but is that your preferred firearm? I usually just casual chat, and they go, no. Half the time they'll go, no, I really like either the SIG that I've got, or I like this other one. One has even said, I'd rather carry my 1911 than this Glock.
Are you talking about like when you're pulled over, you're talking to the cop about his gun, or are you talking about like when you see a cop at a donut shop?
Normally it's been just either out eating and he's required to be there, or just even at the hospital. Because
okay.
just
probably not a good idea to ask a cop about his gun if he just pulled you over.
No. I mean, this is casual conversation, not business. Okay, so because normally I do this because I want to get their perspective as a law enforcement officer, of what they think and what their perspective is, because sometimes just having that conversation will get them to be more open about it than during other times. So
Crazy stuff, man. That's all I know.
But again, I don't know. We probably need law enforcement reform, and not via laws, just training law enforcement officers to deal with people better, as far as when you're dealing with citizens as opposed to dealing with an actual criminal.
And it could just depend on the district. It could depend on the turnover rate. Like in the town that I live in, every encounter I've ever had with a police officer, whether I know him or not, has been very positive. I mean, I've never had anything where it's been pressing or harassing or guns drawn. I mean, and maybe that's just a Midwestern attitude thing. I mean, our local cops are I've never had an issue. They've always been there to help me when I've needed help with stuff, whether it's calling stuff in or whatever, I mean, I think it really depends on the district and what kind of time they put in the training. And we've also got law enforcement officers that have been in the force for a long time. I think that helps out a lot too. So we're not a high turnover rate, what do you call it, precinct, I guess you could say, or district. So,
right, and I've actually spoken with a lot of the law enforcement, the local police here in my city. When I've been out eating at places and just when they're just standing around looking bored because they have to, because
it's what they do.
It's just what they do.
Yeah.
If they're just standing around looking bored, they're just watching things, because they're required to.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and drop and head on over to Get Off My Lawn. If that's cool with you.
All right, is Get Off My Lawn starting?
Yeah, I got a couple minutes here, about 2 minutes or so.
All right, so Travis, give us your outro so we can wrap this up and go do other stuff.
Well, guys, make sure you subscribe to everybody here on this panel this evening. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And make sure you head over to my Travis P11 channel so I can get that 224 Valkyrie giveaway going. And that'll happen on Monday, so make sure you check it out. Thanks a lot, man. Yep.
All right, no problem, Travis.
Cool.
All right, Rich, give us your outro.
Bye-bye.
That's it?
Yeah.
Don't make sure everyone checks out Unloaded Media's channel, and they're the show they do every Sunday night.
Yeah.
What
Let's
time?
see if you remember what time. I was gonna say, let's see if you can remember what time.
What is it? 7 Eastern?
Nope.
Is it 8?
8-ish.
8-ish. We'll go with that.
Yeah,
8 Eastern.
I say 8. G-Web says 8:30. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to argue with G-Man. All right, Kingpin.
I'm going to be typing up a cease and desist letter because Rich stole my outro. No, man. Thanks for having me, man. Always a good time.
Yeah. We got some questions out there about what is the Get Off My Lawn chat. Sandhill Shooter does the Get Off My Lawn chat. He renamed it from the 2A, what was it, 2A Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's now just the old man Get Off My Lawn chat. So, anyways, look out for that. I'm still working on GunTube. I'm working on everything, all aspects. So that's what's going on with me. Just check out all the links in the description of the video, and we'll see you guys next week. So everyone, take it easy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This was Hit or Miss. Now, how do I turn this damn thing off?
I think you might need to use a calf rope.
Do I need to? But I ain't got no calf rope.
Nobody's got a calf rope.
Does it need to be a tap on instead, or?
Snob stole them. He stole every single one of them.
He always says he ain't got no calf rope.
Alt F4? No, that's
He
not
ain't
the
got
right
no
one.
tagline, and that is.
Control Alt Delete isn't right either. How do I turn this off? Darn it!
And what, the
push
YouTube
power.
All right, there we go. Hey, thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Shut up, infringed!
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah.